Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You're in the Prog Corner. Today, we're doing an album review from I never thought this guy would ever cross my paths again. Do you guys remember this song? Love is on the way. I can see it in your eyes. Just give it one more chance tonight, baby. Yeah, it's Saigon Kick. Back in 1992, they had a big hit. Love is on the way. It got all the way up to number 12 on the Billboard charts off their second album, Lizard. These were guys from South Florida. I didn't ever encounter them because I quit the music business in like 87, 88. So we did not cross paths down there in Miami. But this is Saigon Kick's guitar player, Jason Bieler. And he's gone prog, my friends. Yes, he has. He's got a lot of King Crimson and Genesis in his soul. And it comes out at various times here. This is the second album as Jason Bieler and the Baron Von Bielski Orchestra, which is kind of weird. He did, what was that called? In 2021, there was an album called Songs from the Apocalypse, which had Devin Townsend on it, Bumblefoot, Pat Badger from Extreme, Dave Ellefson from Megadeth. But this one here is called Postcards from the Asylum, and it's on Inside Out, and I really do dig this record. This time around, he's got a couple of guests with him, most notably Marco Minimum, Ryo Okamoto, and Andy Blacksugar from KDFDM, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, Jason Bieler, man, I had no idea. Look at this guy. He's crazy looking. And boy, he sure does shred. That sounds like an easy little thing, but man, I got tiny little fingers. That dude's got great fingers because he plays that arpeggio like it's nothing. You heard me. I was struggling with that, man. But what is this record all about? Well, let's run through some of these tracks and try to make sense of what I'm actually even hearing here. The album starts out with a song called Bombay, and it's really bombastic. It's got a really cool, heavy riff that gets you going right from the get-go. It's really rocking, and I could imagine hearing this live. It would be just amazing. That riff is awesome, and then Jason's voice comes in, and you realize why this guy's getting recording contracts. I guess back in the day of Saigon Kick, he was just a guitar player, guy named Matt Kramer was the lead singer. He left the band and Jason became the lead singer. I guess Saigon Kick is back with a new lineup. I guess he's back in the band. And they got Jonathan Mover on drums, even though these guys haven't put an album out in 20 years. It's Saigon Kick. It's not Hanoi Rocks. Remember those guys from the 80s? Another Vietnam named band. Vince Neil killed their lead singer in a car accident. And then, so the song Bombay ends with some cool old-timey Mellotron sounds, which is awesome. The next track is called Numb. It, too, is really high energy, aggressive, heavy song, almost gent in a couple of places, but the drums are really powerful, and there's a lot of real cool guitar things going on in the background. You kind of got to listen up for them because they're buried deep in the mix, but that's kind of cool and a lot of fun. The third track is Heathens, and this is a great song, man. This one just sticks in your head for days. I've been humming this thing in my car nonstop. It's really anthemic. The chorus is strong and powerful, and it really feels like a song I've heard before. I can't really place it, but that melody just is, so prevalent and so awesome. The fourth track brings things down a little bit. You got some strummed acoustic guitar, really cool chord progression on this. You think it's going to be like something real simple. It actually reminds me a little bit of Cheyenne Anthem from Kansas off of Left Overture. These lyrics are weird. Gonna jump the wall to Mexico. Gonna buy some drugs and get it on. Okay, whatever, Jason. The fifth track is Birds of Prey. This features Ryo Okamoto, and it's a real simple tune. Very mid-tempo. Sounds like a 70s rocker, maybe like a Mata Hoople kind of thing. It ends on a simple 1-4-5 chord progression, so you know you're not going to be getting into the depths of prog rock on that track, but it's a lot of fun. Really good song. Next up is Flying Monkeys, and this one's a keeper. Probably the best song on the album, the most progressive song on the album. It's got Marco Minimum on drums. It kind of sounds like Haken when they're doing their Gentle Giant thing. Really, really great track. Next up is a song called Sick Riff, and I was really excited. I was waiting to hear a really sick riff on here, but it's all right. It's an aggressive metal type of song, but the lyrics are hilarious. Sick riff, breaking your hips. When the drummer slows down, the pit gets sick. It's a sign we're in the big time. Trip, trip as the drugs you took hit. When the satellite's down, my Netflix skips. In our prime, it's showtime. Everybody needs an autobiographical song to pump themselves up. Next up is a song called The Depths. And now we get into that finger picking stuff that Jason is known for. It's a really cool song. You got some pizzicato strings, violin and viola in the background. They're probably, generated by a synthesizer, but they sound just like real strings. And then you've got something that sounds like a harpsichord coming in. Probably not a real harpsichord either. Here's a note to all you artists out there that want to record acoustic guitar. Please do not use an electric acoustic. You lose all the overtones and all the full, lush, beautiful sound of the acoustic guitar when you plug it in. Man, mic it, put a mic over the sound hole and one over the 12th fret and you're good, bro. That's all you need to do. Maybe one ambient in the room, but yeah, those electric acoustic guitars are starting to drive me insane. Next up is a song called Beneath the Waves. And it does sound like you're underwater on this song. And then the vocal harmonies come in and wow, it's almost like Queen. It's so good. There's some shredding going on here, a little bit of soloing. But Beneath the Waves, good track. Next song I do not like called Sweet Eliza. It's a love song. It's not memorable. Then comes something called 9981 Darkness. I have no idea what that means. But this chord progression is wicked. It's C sharp to G to B to F sharp. So breaking it down, that's a 1 to a flat 5 to a flat 7 to a 4, and it throws you off quite a bit, but it's awesome. While those chords are going, you got some really cool keyboard sounds mixed in. Very atmospheric. Good song. I like it. Next up is another rocker. It feels just like Love. This one definitely sounds like it should be on the radio. Very AOR, album-oriented rock. And then you get a really cool track called Bare Sedatives. It starts with a drum machine. So I'm like, am I listening to Genesis Duke here? But it's languid. It's intoxicating. It's got this really cool feel going all the way through. 100 million years ago, depression killed the dinosaurs. 100 million years ago, some fish crawled up onto the shores. That's cool. I like those lyrics, man. Next up is Deep Blue, another proggy song. Starts out in 15/8. And if that's not prog, I don't know what is, man. As the song goes on, the vocals come in. It does shift over to 6/8. Very prog tune. Very cool. But to me, the biggest surprise on the album is the final track called Human Head. Again, Jason with the finger picking, but this song just gives me all kinds of feelings, man. Beautiful melody, great chord progression, bizarre lyrics. I bought a human head, placed it on a shelf. It watches over me and no one else. Whatever, Jason. I don't know what any of this means, but what I do know is I went into this album with a whole lot of question marks. Saigon Kick? Are you kidding me, man? I remember those guys from the 90s. But Jason Bieler is a prog rocker. Do not get that wrong. He's an amazing songwriter, a very, very, very good singer, a great guitar player, and probably most importantly, he's got an amazing Rolodex, man. If you can call up Bumblefoot and Devin Townsend and Marco Minimum and be like, hey, dude, I want you on my album. Yeah, you must be doing something right, because those cats probably don't, ply their trade for just any old jamoke out there on the street. Anyway, Jason Bieler, yeah, I told you guys I was going to do an album review, and I was pretty excited about this one once I started listening to it. Not my normal cup of tea,
not capital B Prog, but it is on Inside Out, and they know what they're doing, so I really do trust Thomas Weber and all them folks over there to give me the goods, to deliver what's good and what's proggy, and I love it. Anyway, what am I going to score this bad boy? I'm giving it a 4. 4 headphones. Feels about right. It's fantastic. It's not quite 4.5 territory. It's not masterpiece territory, but it's good. It's solid. Out of the 15 songs, I liked 14 of them, and I loved probably 10 of them. So that's pretty good. Anyway, I love you guys. Next week, the travel log continues. Where's the Prog Corner going to next week? Are we going to Canada? Are we going to Brazil? Are we going to France? Are we going to Norway? Are we going to Germany? I don't know, man. I'm going to have to think about it over the weekend. But we did Sweden this week, and it was fantastic. I just loved it. So anyway, we got a lot of fantastic content coming your way. So stay tuned. Anyway, boys and girls, I love you. Peace in the Middle East. Have a great weekend. And God save the king. God save him. And his beautiful wife, too. Why not?